All right. Who wants to kick it off? Come on,
I guess I'll just say
kid.
that. So we were supposed to do this interview with Brendan Rivera, which we did, and we fucked up the recording, and now Brendan's MIA.
We haven't heard from him since.
He's on house party right now.
So, yeah, scumbag.
In a locked room.
In a locked room.
So now we got to do our own interview. So the questions that Brendan asked, I guess we're just going to ask ourselves. It might be a little bit weird. But.
Well, let's first off, let's start saying, what's up, everybody? We're the RACER.
Oh, yeah.
We got an album coming out May 22nd, Friday, which will be tomorrow, maybe, depending when we air this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But we just want to tell everyone about the album a little bit, talk about the album, say thank you and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, just check in too, see how everyone's doing. You can't talk to us. You can leave comments below.
Yeah. Let's give a little background about the album, the whole process leading up to this and everything. Pete, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So this is our. How many albums have we actually released this month? I was trying to think about the other day. If you count the last two, this would be our 6th, right? Strangers.
Yeah.
Passengers, Giant, right? Yeah, so this is our 6th album. We've been recording a lot of singles lately. If you've been keeping up with us, you'll know that. And then we decided to kind of group those singles into 2 albums in December. That we always had that intention to do that. We always had the intention to kind of put things together that kind of made more sense as an album. But this time we really had the intention of taking a group of songs and then working them into an album. And then Eric quit the band.
Room's lot. There you go.
All right. Anyway. So we really were working towards putting this album together as a real album, as opposed to just a collection of songs. So it started off. Some of these tracks are from, I'd say, a year or so ago, but within the last couple months, we really made a final push to get them across the line and to make sure we were happy with all of them, that they all vibed together. So it's called Bang Bang.
Well, let's back up a little bit too. Can we back up and let's just explain a little bit of, we had a bunch of songs in the works and everything over the past year or so, but then signing up with Mint 400 Records, that was something new for us, obviously, and like a big deal. And talking with Neil Sabatino, is he wanted us to put together an album or an EP or something, and at that point we weren't really sure what we were going to do with a few of the songs that we had and things like that. But we talked about with us three, like, all right, do we do an EP? What do we do here, guys? And ultimately we decided let's put together an album. And so that's kind of how we got to where we are now. We're releasing an album.
Yeah, it was. I remember that day in the basement, just looking at the whiteboard and just having the conversation, like, what could we actually put together? It was pretty quick. I feel like we figured it out, like, almost immediately. Okay, these 7 or 8 tracks really work. Let's work on those.
Yeah, well, I think we also had like about 5 songs, I think, though, where we were going to do an EP at first, but then we were like, oh, you know what? This song is in the works. Let's finish these couple songs, and we can make an album.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
It was different.
Yeah, it was probably the quickest start to finish, maybe. Besides, the songs were written a decent, like a while ago, but I feel like as far as like actually getting them mixed and mastered and released was fast. Giant was like forever. I feel like even Passengers was a while after
Yeah.
we sat on it for a while, right? We seemed like
Yeah, between actually writing it, recording it, mixing it, mastering, all that stuff. Yeah, it took, forever. Years. So this was, much faster.
How do you guys feel about just being a 7-song album as opposed to a 12-song album or a 10-song album? Or, it is the limit on I guess the recommendations, the guidelines for an album. Do we care? How do you guys feel? What do you guys think? I know I don't care.
no, I always thought 8 was the magic number for me. So it was a little bit short, but I still like it shorter than longer. I think the longer ones are boring. They get boring. I feel like it's hard to keep your attention for like 13 songs or 12 songs, in my opinion.
It's not too late, man. Get an 8th song on there.
Yeah.
Sneak it.
True. Yeah.
Bonus tracks.
Bonus track.
You know what is crazy though? Because when we finished the process and we saw that it was literally under 30 minutes.
29 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's crazy is that I thought that each song was kind of long, on the longer side. Like we got a few 4-minute and 5-minute songs where I was like, oh, this, even though it was 7 songs, I assumed it was going to be like in the high 30s. But when we got it and it was 29 minutes, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But I think which ones are the longer ones, but they're not even really that long. And then like the ones that are not that, or like in the middle, are actually kind of short. Like I think Zero to Sun's like 3 minutes and like 15 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, and the one that brings it down a lot is I'd Rather Play is only like 2.5 minutes. So that's all the other ones are a little bit higher than average.
Because we cut that long outro. That's why.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know. To me, I don't know. We always struggled, I feel like, with trying to find tracks that we were all happy with on an album. And I feel like, when we had 12, 13 songs on an album, there's always a couple where even I would be like, I don't know. This is not our best work. So this was like trimming the fat for me. Like I'm proud of every one of these, and I feel like as a whole, we're proud of every one of them. So but I think Eric, you said like you feel more confident about this than anything we've ever done, or just more excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember telling you guys, and I felt like kind of cheesy telling you guys about it, but I do remember being like, out of all the albums that we've done, this is the first one from like 1 to 7, top to bottom, that like, each song I genuinely feel confident about, love, and all that stuff. So that's just a relief, and like, I could get behind every single one of these songs. Because on the other albums, maybe there was a couple tracks where it's like, I can't really get behind this and be passionate about it. Like, yeah, it's good, but I'm not behind it.
Yeah.
So there's just a relief in that sense. 1 through 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that going, I don't know. You guys want to talk about your top songs or any special songs or something that we got on this? Like any ones that stick out to you personally? This one, go ahead.
I don't know if I have a favorite though. I don't know. I don't know. I think like originally, Zero to the Sun was like my favorite. But then I don't know. I don't know if that is anymore, and I don't know which one really is. It's like weird that I usually have like one that I just really like love, but then every once in a while, I guess it's like saying something for the album, at least coming from mine or our perspective, that it's like you listen to a different, like, oh yeah, I like this song a lot, and then you listen to something else, like, ooh yeah, like it's like every time I listen to the different songs, like it's something else catches me that I'm like, maybe that's my favorite, like changes. don't know.
Yeah, I get the same sort of feeling where there's like 3 or 4 that I like really love that I would say like are my favorites. But then every once in a while, like I'll listen to the other 3 or 4 that I haven't listened to in a while because I'm playing the other ones, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Oh man, I love that part when this comes in, or I don't know. It's like fresh every time, like each song. So I think it's a good thing. I love treaties. I love the return, and I really love I'd Rather Play. But once again, like I don't know. I listened to which one was it? Shake the Hollows the other day, and I was like, oh, it's insane that I could forget about the song, but I was like, I forgot about this song. Like I forgot this was on this album. Like,
Yeah.
awesome. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll go back to when we specifically talked about with Brendan is Zero to the Sun. I think just for me is the probably not necessarily my like favorite track, but like definitely holds a special flame to it all because it's the first track on the album. It definitely symbolizes like a little change in our sound, a little more so than anything we've ever done. Mike is coming off, singing to start the song off and, pretty much like leading the way on this song. And, Pete, you come in and balance it. So now we have this whole new dynamic going on. And so it just symbolizes a lot of just like a new sound for us, a new, dimension. And so I guess it just holds a little bit more weight to it for me, but not necessarily my favorite song. But I don't know then if I have a favorite song on that point. So
I get
they're all
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's symbolic of the album. It's symbolic of the time in which we made it and where we're going. And yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
I also was like, it's hard because I haven't really even listened to them, to be honest, because I've been mixing them and stuff. Like, I just didn't want to listen to them anymore for a while.
get that.
It's like even after we mastered them, I really didn't want to listen to the masters. I was like, I don't want to listen to these fucking masters.
And like going back to,
I feel like I had to, but
going back to mixing, Mike, what was like the most challenging song to mix on this album?
To be honest, it's weird. It's Zero to the Sun was the hardest, only because I feel like that was the first one I was mixing. This was even before we started making the album. So it was almost like I kind of figured out how to mix the album through that song.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like all my effort was spent mixing that song, like made the other songs easier because I was like, this was kind of like the framework for how I was going to mix it. So I was learning the whole time that I started doing the mixing, and when we were doing when I was mixing Zero to the Sun, I was trying like really, really hard to make it better than anything we've had, whether that happened or not. I was trying to make at least the mix and the sound of it better than anything we've had. So I was like killing myself trying to do that. And in the process, it helped mix the other songs. But that being said, I'd Rather Play was also probably just as hard. And it was literally because it was piano vocals and the sax part was easy actually. It just sounded good. I put like delay or whatever on it and it just sounded awesome. So I barely had to do anything with that. But I struggled trying to get the right vibe with the keys and the vocals to sound how I thought I wanted it to sound. And I kept going back and forth between like super spacey and trying to make it intimate and like the right dynamics and all this shit. And it was so hard. And all it was fucking piano and vocals. So that one, yeah, it was those two. The biggest pain in the ass.
Hilarious, because literally every time that you would send that mix or a mix of that song, I was like, yeah, man, sounds great. Like I like never could figure out like what you were going for, like with feedback and stuff. Like other songs, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what he's trying to get to here. I was like, yeah, man, sounds great. Like every time. That's funny.
Yeah, and in that process, it definitely gets like frustrating. I think, you know, for myself, where it's like, yeah, man, it sounds good. Stop killing yourself on this, because it is starting to get like you can't tell the difference. Like, and it does sound good, so it's like not that you can't tell the difference, but it sounds good. So we could go on for this forever. Yeah. When are you gonna just say, all right, this is it? You know. Yeah. So that's always interesting to see. How are we going to react to all that? Because it used to be somebody else mixing. And we used to have to really be mindful of what we're saying, or when do we settle and say, all right, it's done. But now that you're mixing, we're able to speak a lot more, have a lot more time with it, and, you know, ponder over it so much more, which I think sometimes can drive you crazy personally, which in turn drives us crazy, because it's just like, yeah, man, it sounds good.
yeah. Well, even the feedback is hard because you're like, because it's hard because it's your project. So it's not like if I was mixing someone else's stuff, right, which I've never done, but say I was, they would give me the feedback and I'd be like, okay, like no problem, like because it's not yours, so that it's different. Like when you guys give the feedback and you're like, fuck, like I don't want to do that, but you have to like play both roles, so it's so hard.
Well,
so you're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And then you like let it sink in, and then maybe like I would say 75% of the time I'd go back and listen and be like, oh yeah, they're right. But then like every once in a while I'd be like, no, that's like I go back and listen, like no, no. Like I can't let that happen, and you gotta like.
But didn't we compromise? Come up with the two things? We came up with the two names. Like we'd be like talking to you as Mike, as a band member.
Yeah.
But then we had like your mixer name, so like it was like a separate entity. Like we'd have to feel bad saying stuff, and you'd have to feel bad saying stuff to us, and yeah.
And it's funny because for doing the first time I ever edited anything was doing these making of videos, and I felt pretty good about them. Like, you know, obviously it was the first time ever doing anything like that, and on such a little technical scale. But then once I sent it back to you guys, and Mike, you know, you text me, all right, well, critique, I would do this and this. I'm like, oh, no, but I like it that way. Like I did it that way because I wanted it to look that way.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but that's retarded. And I'm like, no, but that's awesome. Like, that's a creative vision. Like, I wanted it to be that way.
Well, Mike don't say that.
And then
he doesn't say that.
What? Yeah, but he's obviously knows how he wants it to sound. Yeah, he knows how he wants it to sound. So, but like after those first couple times, I was like, you know, I don't know if I could do this anymore, because if this is going to be the process, because it's like I have an idea, and then if they're telling me no, they don't like that, because like instinctively you want to be like, well, then you do it then, you know. But it's like, all right, I had to like really sit back for a second to be like, okay, all right, let me take a look at this. All right, I see what they're saying. Can I adjust? Sure, I can adjust. You know, like it's not going to be one take and it's done the way I want it to be. So that was a good learning experience for myself, definitely, in dealing with edits and everything like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's now I'm glad you see that, actually.
Yeah.
Because you have to, like, teach yourself even not to, like, there's times where you, like, do a mix or whatever, and you, like, spent a long time on it, which is usually bad anyways, because then you don't even know what you're hearing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'll be like, oh, this shit sounds awesome. I can't wait to send it. You send it over, and you're like, I want it to sound like the demo does. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, did I do, like, I'm like, what just happened? Like, and then you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, that's where, you know, I can see, like, obviously it's great that you're able to do it and amazing, but I can see why getting that outside person, as long as you got these things where it's like, all right, we're able to communicate, and how many passes do we get? can be beneficial, but there's also so many pros for us to be in-house as well, where it's like, it's like almost each time could be different. Oh, let's try something else just for the experience of it.
Yeah. I also think
different.
It's just learning it. It's like once it's always going to be there, but I know I feel like I like inside myself has gotten better at it. Like I'm like, okay. And just, at first, like you said, Sats, you're like, it's like it's like overwhelming. And then you just kind of learn to be that, separate the two.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's funny because when I think about these mixes compared to when we've gotten other mixes, like I've never been happier than when I've gotten these mixes. I feel like, and this is not this is not an offense to anybody who's ever mixed our stuff, but like we would get the mixes back for like our album, and I would have like a panic attack. Like, oh my God, this is going to be an awful album. Like I would like legitimately lose my mind and then make 8,000 notes and whatever. And I feel like I wasn't doing that with this because we were in on the process a lot more. But I feel like it's funny because in a way, like, I'm definitely mindful of that. Like whether it's Eric making videos or you mixing, like trying to be as respectful to the process and the work you guys are doing as much as possible. But I feel like, in a lot of ways, like you could be your own worst critic. Like I said, like I'd rather play or Zero to the Sun. You play me, and I'd be like, yeah, man, sounds awesome. Like oh, you want to try this direction? Oh, yeah, that's cool. Like I'd give some feedback here and there. Like it's fun. I'm just saying, like I feel, I didn't feel like nearly as like, oh shit, I can't believe I have to say this to Mike or to Eric or whatever about any of this stuff because none of it to me was like a big deal. So it's like. But I know what you're saying. Like when you first initially get an email back, especially an email, I feel like if we're in person, it's so much easier. That's why half the time, like I'd rather just sit in the room with you guys and tell you what I think about the mix than send an email and be like, oh, fucking bass is too loud, and, whatever. Like I'd rather just do that in person. And I feel like it goes so much smoother. But I just think it's interesting, like how critical, you are of yourselves,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always like, I feel like I've been like that. It's like, we're not using top-notch professional gear. I haven't been doing this for fucking 20 years. I didn't go to school for it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many factors weighing against us. So it's like in reality, it should be like, oh, like Eric has said before to me, he's like, you're trying to weigh yourself up against like these radio made hits or whatever and all this stuff. It's like it's going to be nearly impossible to make it sound like that. You just don't have the tools and experience. And it's like, but I still am like trying to make it like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to settle. So I try as hard as I can to get there. And then whatever,
I'm curious. Like,
I'm still always disappointed that it's not sound like that, but
yeah, maybe in 5 years, see in 5 years instead of 10 years because you're trying so hard,
I'm curious what you guys think. Like Mike, you definitely can speak to this, but also Eric, I'm just curious. Like, if you had to describe the production style of the album, like what would you say is the style of this production is? Because I definitely know what it is. Like, I understand what it is, almost like emotionally. Like, I know what the sound is, but like, I can't really like describe it to people who ask me. If you had to describe, like, what's the sound of this album, like from a production standpoint?
I don't know.
Well, give me an example. Like,
like what do you mean?
I don't know how to answer that question because how would you describe
the Giant?
Like right? This,
just like like you hear an album, you're like, oh, the production on this, they went lo-fi, they went, overly digital, they went, whatever. I don't know. Like, is there, or you can even forget the production style, just the sound of the record in general. Like, how would you describe it to people? Because I'm having a hard time doing it. I don't really know exactly what to say when people are like, what does it sound like? What's the style of it?
I don't know, really. I guess I've been saying like definitely more digital, like a warm sounding digital rock vibe. Makes sense a little bit to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely having a hard time, like, sending this out to people, like, describing what genre, even more so now than ever, where do we belong with this album? Because it's not all over the place, but it's such in between everything. So I don't know how to really classify it, but I definitely, for us, it's more digital than ever before, but it's not completely electronic.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because we still got guitar on there. We have a piano, and we have a saxophone on there. So like we still have instruments on there. Mm-hmm. So it's just a good balance, I think.
Yeah, it's like a digital. I don't know. It's almost like digital indie pop rock. I don't know. Like, what would like the Postal Service be?
Okay.
Because I don't think it sounds like the Postal Service, but it's like I don't know.
They're classified under pop rock.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that, I guess.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But it's. But here, it's not like. No, it's not necessarily like radio pop, though. It's like.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying
I don't
know. I'm thinking about you in the mixing room, and I'm like trying to get in your head, like, what were you like going for? Because I can hear it. Like, I hear like it's definitely more digital. It's very like clean to me. Like, there's like a lot of open space, if that makes sense. Where I feel like in the past there's been like just tons of stuff filling the space, whether that's like extra guitars or just a ton of reverb and whatever it is. Like, I feel like you can really hear all the instrumentation, whether it's Eric playing his saxophone or the snare hit or the vocal or whatever. It's just, you kind of can hear everything. So I was just more asking because we haven't really talked about it. Like, you don't have to, get into details, but I'm getting that. Like, I always get like, I remember we sat in one of the rooms recording one time. I'm not sure what studio it was, but we listened back to like a mix, and the mix, it was like a mix of like our song, and then like they played like another, an actual radio kind of hit, and we're like, yeah, like our song sounds cool, but like you can't. I feel like this radio song, like you can hear all the different, professionally done, like you said, all the gear. You could hear all the different instrumentation, and like at least I'm getting that from this. I'm not saying maybe it's not up to that standard from like a real, someone who's like has a real ear for that stuff, but I can hear everything very clearly.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the goal. Part of the goal, obviously, when I was mixing it, because I think that actually came a lot from Eric, even because on the songs that I mixed even before the album, I remember it was the feedback I feel like I was always getting from him was, can you make it sound clearer? Like, can you make like you always wanted to like
cleaner?
You give like a reference, like see how clean, like clean it is. You ever hear how clean it is? Like,
yeah,
like I can't hear this. Can you make it sound cleaner? So I'd be like, what the fuck does this like? You'd be like, what does this mean? And then it was like trying to figure, okay, so I guess that means that you want to try to make, everything decipherable.
Right.
So then the product of that kind of was like less tracks, I guess. I feel like we had less tracks. We still had I feel like a lot of stuff, but now when I look back at the tracks, it's like, I don't know, it's really not that many instruments. It doesn't seem like. Even the Return, like it isn't even, the Treaties probably has the most, but the Return in my head seems like there's a lot of tracks. Like there's a lot of different parts and stuff, but there's only like a couple instruments doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
with it. Like like there's guitars, keys, bass, vocals, and drums, and then a couple ambient things. Like that's really it. Or like the other songs that we've done in the past would be like, I don't know, we just added fucking strings and bells, and we lost Pete, I think.
I'm here.
And all this other stuff
Yeah,
in there, just added and added.
Huh. So Eric invented clean production and
So
eating clean.
Yeah, that's true. Don't forget
I
that.
see that billboard every time, and I'm like, that Eric said that shit 15 years ago.
I know. I think about that all the time, actually. But two things I want to talk about with that real quick is one, I think we did mixing in the digitalness to still having that goes, I think, to a lot of our influences and seeing them, with their writing skills with Bon Iver and the National, like when you see Aaron Dessner using the OP1 and incorporating all these digital electronic sounds, but yet they're still a band.
Yeah.
And I think that was like important for us to see over the past few years, like, you're capable of living in both worlds and still being respected as musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even want to say respected, but you guys know what I mean. Because it takes a lot for a traditional musician to go to dabble in some electronics. Like those first few bands that did that, like it probably took a lot of like, oh, here we go. And I know we would even feel that way, and we still feel that way, still playing live and incorporating all this digital stuff live. So, that's just been a huge thing for us, I think, transitioning and trying to figure out that sound. But then also, like, talk about, like, the clean on the album, and I think we did it, like, what really gave the whole cohesiveness for the album was when, Mike, you decided to, we had Treaties and The Return had more of a live drum feel. And not that it didn't fit, but there was definitely like a distinction between those two songs and the rest of the songs as it being like clean. And then Mike, you just, I guess one day decided to use more electronic sounding drums to match the drums on everything else. And to me, that gave it that whole cohesiveness now to the album where all these songs actually do fit together and it feels like an album now together. So I thought that was a big breakthrough when you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember getting that. I was in the car driving home from work and getting that email with the new mix. Hey, check out the new drums. I was like, new drums? What the fuck does that mean? I opened the link and started driving. And like, this sounds perfect. Like now it fits into this world that we're trying to do with this. Like, again, just in my own head. Because we never really sat down and said like what we wanted to do. It just sort of happened. But it made it fit in that world almost immediately, just from one thing. So yeah, that was a cool moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's to be honest, there's like almost no crash cymbals on the album.
Huh.
There's barely any crashes.
That's funny.
Even there's not even a lot of open hi-hats too.
Yeah, that probably lends to the clean sound. You're not hearing the going on.
Yeah, it took even that's what happened with that was the Return, was because those digital drums, the demo drums that we were going to keep, those demo drums was all open hi-hat and crashes. Yeah. And that's why it became so much, there was so much space opened up for all the other instruments to hear those instruments better, because once those open hi-hats and crashes were gone, you were like, oh, it was just like it was insane.
That's cool.
And I think even Treaties 2 was I still kept it in there. There was a ride the whole time. There was that ride.
Yeah.
We had the whole time we were doing the demos and doing the mixing, even I think until the last couple of weeks. And the ride, I remember I couldn't figure out, but it was just I don't know. It was just like this
reverberation.
It was just annoying being there. Like you wanted the energy of it, but it just kept like, but the whatever the frequency of it was just like always there, just annoying. And then I kept that in. I think during the choruses on like low, but I tried like a closed hi-hat more sound or something just to tighten it up so there wasn't like a wash the whole time. And then I feel like that opened that song up for you to hear, everything better, because the whole song is kind of washy, and then you add that and it's like.
Yeah. When I asked before about mixing, I thought you were going to say Treaties was going to be the hardest one to mix.
Yeah, me too.
At first, I thought it was, but then I feel like once I did that, it became so much easier. I remember that was like the last song I mixed, and I was like, "Oh no, I'd rather play" was probably the last song I mixed, but I was trying to mix that song like way earlier even, so it was like I already spent a ton of time on that. But Treaties was like the last song with a lot of shit going on, and I was like, "Oh god, this is gonna be so bad." And then I think once I got rid of that ride, it kind of made everything so much easier. It was really the vocals was, to me, that was like the hardest part of that song. It's trying to figure out how the vocals fit.
Yeah, let's talk more about the vocals, because we got on this album, which we haven't even said the name of the album yet, which is, maybe we'll hold off on that and we'll talk about it after the name next.
People can see it right now, Eric.
Oh, all right.
They can see it.
I can't see it. It's not on my back.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
On my screen. All right, well, we'll talk about it next. We'll get to that. But let's talk about the vocals first, because this album does have like another dynamic with Mike singing a whole lot more than ever before. So I don't know, you guys want to touch upon that, and with the balance of it, and just like the new sound of it, everything like that. I don't know. You guys want to touch upon it at all? I can tell you my thoughts on it.
I don't want to talk about that shit.
That came about randomly. I feel like. I don't know. Because the Zero to the Sun demo, I sang the demo stuff, and then we just kind of thought it sounded good. So instead of Pete trying to recreate it, I just sang it. That was like, I feel like that was like the same thing for Tensions and Bloom, was I sang the demo, and instead of trying to, Pete was awesome about it, and he was like, to be honest, I'm probably just going to try to sing it like that. So why am I going to try to sing it like that when you could just sing it? And that was really the product of those two songs, singing like that.
Yeah, I think it was, again,
right? I don't know.
No, it's something we didn't discuss. We didn't go like, all right, this album we're going to introduce new singers or whatever. It just kind of organically happened. So, and it was like obvious to me. It was like, this is what we should be doing for this particular song, and then that particular song, and then again, the only thing I wanted to do was, if I could add to it, or if I could somehow make the song better, then great, I'll sing. If I can't, then that's okay too. That's great. And to me, it opens up all these other doors as a band. We talked about it with Brendan, which didn't get recorded, but the whole thing was about how there's so many bands that have multi vocalists and all for different colors. Going back to the Beatles, and to me it's just a new chapter for us. It's a new door to go through.
Yeah, well, that's what I definitely view it as this whole new dimension that just opened up. And the first real time I heard it was with "Be Gone," the single "Be Gone," and when that first started, I was like, wow, we have a whole new dimension to us right now with Mike singing like that. And it's not like you're just doing harmonies or something like that. Like, it's like a whole new soundscape. And then to create that balance with, Pete, your voice, like, I just thought it's really something like special for us to have, because you don't, there's not too many bands where you hear it that much like that out there, So I do think it's just like really special for us right now. And then to utilize it on this album even more so, it's just like really cool to see, it develop throughout the songs. It was funny when I saw We Were Promised Jetpacks. There was only one singer, the lead singer. Like the other guys, I correct. The drummer had like a microphone, but he like barely sang any harmonies or anything. But I was like, man, like we're so much more, totally different than that. To have two different like melodies going on, not harmonies, melodies, and it's like just something unique. And that's again what I think like what separates this album on Who's High Enough. Like that one kind of reminds me more of like Be Gone with that background, but then like the lead on top of it, and like I just think it's like a really cool dynamic to have. So that's what I think like separates this album more so than any other thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Good job, you too.
Well,
next album will be 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? Let's talk about the album name.
Yeah, man. What's
Bang, bang, bang.
Say it again.
Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
We want to talk about how we came up with it, because I know we're definitely going to get some questions about it. People have already been asking me a little bit about it. So.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys are the ones that kind of.
Well, I think it initially came from Mike. You started working on the artwork, and you started throwing out ideas. We kind of give feedback here and there. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe can you try this sort of direction too? And like again, you're great at doing that, hearing us and trying things and whatever. But then you sent one artwork. Was it? It's not this artwork, was it? Was it the actual artwork? No, something else, right?
It was something else.
But then you had the font, and you had or maybe not the font, but you had the style of the album title being, I think you wrote blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, going vertically. And Eric, I think you were the one who said like you really like that a lot, just that. Maybe
I thought it was just so awesome, so like cool looking, the grabbing attention, and just to have the blah, 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 3 words repeating itself, like I just love it. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to be like, yo, whatever we do, let's just keep with this style. And I'm even cool with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. All right. So I think you said that. We were in the basement, and you said, you're like, I'm cool with blah, blah, blah. So I was like, it can't be blah, blah, blah. I was like, no. I was freaking out. But I think I was sitting by the stairs, and I don't know who said it or whatever. But to me, like I kept getting like from that artwork, like a movie poster, like a Quentin Tarantino movie poster. 3 words, whatever it was. I was like, like what movie would he make? Like, like whatever. And I don't know who said it, like bang, bang, bang. Like, yeah, bang, bang, bang. Like that's, I could totally see that, and it, to me, it doesn't really make sense for like anything lyrically or thematically with the album, other than like, I think we're really kind of branching out on this album and exposing ourselves and like letting ourselves open to like criticism, if you will, or whatever, like new directions or whatever. And it's like, it was like bold. And I really like that about the name. I just thought it was just bold. Like that to me was what attracted me to it. Along with the artwork. I think the artwork is the thing that drove it,
Yeah, well, bold with the colors too. And then you throw in those colors, but it's not like, to me, it's not an obnoxious bold. We could go back to like Giant, the title of Giant. And to me, there's a line maybe where I could see it as being like maybe a little obnoxious, bold, a little bit, a touch. But with this bang, 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 I don't feel that way at all. And I just feel like, just a little bit of confidence, a little bit of fun, a little bit of, a Quentin Tarantino style. Like, hey, like whatever. We like it. It's cool. It sounds cool. It looks cool. It feels good. So that's why we're going with it. For me, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, to me, it's like we're just having fun. Like this album to me is like we're having fun. We had fun recording it. Like we tried new stuff. Like we're shooting videos and having fun. Like it was like stepping out of our comfort zone, just enjoying ourselves, not taking ourselves so seriously. I That's yeah.
Mhm.
I agree. And I think the font, along with the coloring, like I think I said at one point, Mike, like I really love the London Calling, the Clash.
Mhm.
Like I think that's like black and white, and then there's like the really bold, vibrant colors.
Mhm.
So then when you set that thing, I'm like, yep, that's it, man. That shit is awesome. And then just the actual picture is beautiful. Oh. Yeah, I'll show everyone. I'm trying to get us out of the way. Is that Jess in the picture?
Mhm. That's from the video shoot.
That's interesting because Eric just talked about how that was like the start to him of this new dimension for that song, Beyond. That's pretty cool.
It's all connected, man. All connected.